to me. Now, God's been getting some bad press in the American church. And it ain't God's fault. God said, my thoughts aren't your thoughts, my ways aren't your ways. I don't do stuff the way you do it. I don't think the way you think. I don't act the way you think. You think they need punished, I think they need pardoned. Now, this mentality has pervaded us. It's prevailing in our lives, and to the point that we walk around with a perpetually guilty conscience. With that thing we talked about last week, this separation between us and God. We really feel like everybody has to be punished for all of their wrong thoughts and all of their wrong deeds and all of their wrongdoings. It's almost as if Jesus never came and died on a cross. I want to ask a lot of people in the church, why did Jesus even bother to come and die if sin has just as much power now as it did before He came and died on the cross? What was the purpose in Jesus coming to die if God is still a loser when it comes to people failing? If God is still perpetually offended at everybody's failure, then why did Jesus even bother? And I think for most Christians, Jesus came and died almost outside of the events that are happening in the human timeline so that you could accept it and then inject it into the human timeline. You have just cheapened the finished work. I got to say that again. Let me try to work that again. And slow down. I think a lot of Christians feel like here's time. Jesus came and He died outside of it. It made no difference on the timeline. And then you come along and believe in it, and when you believe in it, you pull it down here into your timeline, and then it affects the rest of your life. You just cheapened God's finished work. God's finished work now depends on you. And I'm here to tell you that God's ways are higher than your ways, and God's thoughts are higher than your thoughts, and as the heavens are higher than the earth, so my ways are higher than your ways and my thoughts are higher than your thoughts. You don't access what Jesus did out here independent of man and then inject it into time through your faith. I'm here to tell you Jesus died inside of this thing to effectively change this thing. And now when we accept it by faith, it's not, I'm getting it as I go, honestly. It is not us reaching out and grabbing and putting Him in here. Our faith is us who have been out here rotating and wandering, and it's now us being pulled into what God has done here. God's not just out here floating around waiting on your faith to access. Jesus has already made a difference in who we are. Is that coming across? Because I want you to understand what a great thing happened when Christ died.